Hello, dear ones. How are you? How are you coping with all of this so much? I know that some of you are probably just energetically feeling the intensity of the situation. Those of us that are highly sensitive and tuned in just tend to pick up energetically on the buzzy energy that's out there. So it's one way you might just be feeling it in a subtle way, or maybe you have a family member who's sick, or you have gotten sick. Maybe you're struggling with changes in your job. We're all in so much upheaval right now. Maybe you're stuck somewhere and you're unable to travel. Wherever you are watching this, I just want you to know that I am just feeling you and I'm holding you, and I'm feeling it in my own ways. So I'm really lucky to not have my life be interrupted right now. But for those of you that are dealing with mass interruption, I just want you to know that you're not alone, that we're with you. Please reach out, ask for what you need. Um, and then I want to just say that music is such a powerful healing force, as we know. And I just think that with all of the challenge right now in this whole crisis, it's a really great opportunity to go that much more deep inside and to work with our own voice and our own sound and how that can help to heal us and to ground us in these challenging times, as well as have a ripple effect on the rest of the world. I also think that it's great to take some time to just take music in, to listen to music if you can right now and just let it soothe you. Because I think that besides just the whole intensity of what's happening, the things that we're actually dealing with in reality, I do think that just the energetic effect is really big right now. And so music can really just be a great source for you, whether you're making it or you're taking it in, to help you to ground and to connect. So that's what I want to share with you today, just as a general encouragement, but also give you some tools. So feel free to throw in the comments what you're dealing with, questions that you have, maybe ideas that you have, ways that you're coping right now, ways that you're working with music. So the first thing that I would love for us to all do together is to just take some nice deep breaths. So you can close your eyes if you want. Just take some nice breaths. The exhale is really important as much as the inhale, especially when we're dealing with this high kind of level of anxiety. We can have our energy get very much up in this space, and the inhale just kind of increases that. So when we breathe, we want to be sure that we are exhaling into our low body, sending the energy down, exhaling into the earth. And that can be kind of the main point of our focus, so that we can calm ourselves down. So that's part of the grounding work of this. So take some nice deep breaths, exhale them into the earth, and then let your inhale just happen really naturally. So exhaling, seeing if you can feel into your core, your belly, into your low body, down into the earth, and then inhaling, just let that become a kind of natural thing that happens next. So we'll do it again together. So we'll exhale into the earth, into the low body, and then you can inhale very naturally. And just notice how your breath begins to slow when you do this automatically. And you can start to maybe feel yourself connected more to the floor, to your legs, just trying to kind of bring some of the energy down out of this high kind of anxious area that many of us have been in right now. Into the earth, into the low body. Inhale happens naturally. You can also deepen it into a belly breath. So as much as you can, just seeing if you can let your belly expand when you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, just using that support of your core to connect you to your low body into the earth. So again, inhale, feeling your belly expand, feeling your ribs expand, and then you exhale all of that into the earth. So when we get kind of anxious, we tend to breathe up here in this part of the body where there's not actually that much room for breath. And this is when we panic attacks basically come from this space. So we're sort of breathing too high up, our energy is very high. So we want to be breathing into our belly so that we are connecting to the low body and we're grounding ourselves and supporting ourselves. So as you inhale, just notice that there's a tendency to breathe up here. For those of you that are singers, I'm sure this is very familiar, doing these belly breaths Just as much as you can, expanding the belly. Inhaling to the belly, exhaling into the earth. And then from the earth, you can just imagine on the inhale now that you are expanding, that you're lengthening all the way up through the top of the neck, through the top of the head into the sky. And then on your exhale again, that would be down into the earth. Inhale, lengthening up from the ground all the way through the body. So we're just kind of coming back to our body and tucking in with the body. The exhale is this opportunity to connect to the earth, bring our energy down. The inhale is the opportunity to work with expanding if we become very contracted, especially. So we can do this by thinking about the length that we have in the body. We can also do this by thinking about the width. So as you inhale, you can just imagine that your shoulders are widening. You can feel with the inhale that your cages widening and expanding. We also want to include the depth of the body, front and back. And then as you exhale all of that into the earth, you're still keeping the space inside of the body. You're still kind of expanding this way. So the exhale grounds you, and the inhale helps you to expand in all directions, creating more and more space inside. So part of this practice can really be about becoming bigger to be able to hold all of the challenge right now. So the tendency is to get very kind of anxious, our energy is high and up here, and we start to hold a lot there. So we can exhale really deeply into the earth, and then on the inhale, we can just think about expanding and becoming bigger and being able to just kind of hold the space and come into our spine as well. We want to include the back space. We tend to be very forward when we get anxious or when we're dealing with something. So we're coming into our body, into our alignment, into our spine, into our back. So inhaling, creating space, exhaling into the earth. Inhaling space, exhaling into the earth. So the next thing that you could do is to place your hands on your belly and just really feel your core energy. Maybe you have a great relationship with your belly, with your core. Maybe you have never really attempted to connect here, but you want to just take a minute to sort of feel into your core and connect into that place. Inhaling and exhaling from here, doing the belly breath, but also just kind of feeling your core and the support that that can offer you. This is a source of your creativity. It's also the source of offering and receiving. So a lot of us are probably holding a lot in our bellies right now because it has to do with how we relate with others and how we interact and what we kind of might be taking on energetically that isn't helpful. And so this can be a powerful place when we're connected to our core to just kind of create some healthy boundaries. And I'm talking about energetically as well as, of course, protecting yourself if you're feeling the need to stay home and not be out and about. So as you connect to your core and you keep doing this practice, for those of you just tuning in, because I'm seeing people kind of pop in and out, we're exhaling into the earth and we're kind of inhaling, creating space in the body. And the intention is to bring our energy down into the low body where we might have been really kind of high and up here constantly. I'm realizing, shoot, I hope you guys can hear me. Realizing, hold on. This whole didn't have my headset on, so I don't know if you guys could hear me. So I'm going to just quickly run through just briefly what we've been talking about. I'm so sorry about that, talking and not having the proper tools. So we're exhaling into the earth to kind of bring our energy down into the low part of our body, because many of us, from everything that's happening right now, have been experiencing a lot of anxiety, and we're really kind of taking on not just, there's the everyday stuff we're dealing with, people's jobs are changing, you're out of work, you're not able to go here, you're not able to go there, maybe you have someone who's sick, who knows what you're dealing with. But so there's all of that in reality, but then there's also the energetics of this. How are we working with our minds and our bodies? What are you really dealing with right now in your own kind of psyche? And how can you kind of work with that? Because the best thing we can do is to stay really, really strong in our bodies and in our minds as we work with the situation. Okay, so that's what this practice is really about, to help you kind of ground in all of this so that you're also more available to those that might need you, and not feeling so just kind of thrown by the overwhelm of it all. Especially for those of us, and all musicians, we tend to be this way. We're pretty energetically sensitive to what's going on. So even if you're not personally affected, you're probably feeling it a lot. I know we all are. So the opportunity here is to exhale into your low body and into the earth, grounding yourself. And then on your inhale, you can just imagine that you're expanding in all directions. You're getting larger and larger. And then you exhale into the earth. And you inhale, thinking about lengthening up to the sky, thinking about widening through the shoulders, widening through the rib cage, becoming big enough to kind of hold all of this, creating more space inside. So exhale into the earth as a way to ground. And really, you could use your hands. You notice I'm using my hands, so that can be helpful, that there's this really into the earth. And then your inhale is about expanding in all directions and just feeling into the space inside. Really important to stay with a belly breath while you do this. If you notice you're breathing up here, that tends to create more anxiety. So you can just exhale more deeply to support that, exhaling to the earth. And then inhale and expanding in all directions. Okay, so the next step here is going to be to actually bringing in our singing voice as a grounding tool. So if you are in a space where you can make sound right now, that's great. If not, you could just take this in for now and do this later. So the next thing you want to do is just begin to make some really kind of soft, low hums and low sounds. And the intention here is to stay grounded in the low part of your body, to connect with your core, to keep connecting into the earth. And if you notice yourself breathing up here, getting into your high energy, to use your voice to kind of bring you back down into your core and into the earth. So an example of this would be, just a long, low sound, and see if you can really feel the depth of that vibration in your whole body, and especially in your core, maybe in your chest a little bit, in the low part of your body. So some nice low sounds. You can make those ooh, or it can just be a hum, or it can be bigger if you want, it can be louder, it can be softer, whatever serves you, okay? If the low sounds aren't working for you, you could try the high sounds, whatever works. But this is about just starting to make some sound in your body and move the vibrations, and as much as you can, feel them in your body. This isn't about focusing on proper singing or good singing or how I want to sing. This is really just using our voice as a tool. So the focus is just make any sound, any way it comes out is perfect, and you're noticing and observing, those vibrations in your body and how they can kind of begin to work on you. So making those long, low sounds or higher sounds and starting to move that. And then you could notice where there's any places that are stuck in your body, in your physical body or in your emotional body. So are there places where you're holding the anxiety? I know for me, I keep kind of saying this, but I've been really feeling it in my core, like my whole stomach feels just knotted up these days. So you could just send these sounds right into those places in your body, seeing if you can feel the vibration and have that intention to really, really feel the sound go into those parts, as an opportunity to deepen your connection to the sound and to just kind of bring you back into your physical self if you've been kind of being pulled out by all of the kind of mental, emotional chaos that's happening. Okay, so low sounds again are helpful. They can also be any sound. They can kind of meander. But again, I'm not focused on the act of singing or the doing of singing. I'm actually focused on receiving, listening, and feeling my own voice in my body. And you can just keep playing with these sounds. And if you need to come back to silence, you could come back to silence and you would just exhale into the earth. Inhale and create space again. And then you could begin again with some low sounds. Ooh. So I'd love to hear if you're trying this, if you're in a place where you can try this live. I'd love to hear how that's working for you. If you have suggestions, if there's other things you've done, feel free to pop into the comments and just let me know how it's going. Okay, so low sounds, ooh, feeling those vibrations in your body, and try to kind of then see if the sensation starts to change. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But as you kind of do these sounds into the places in your body that feel stuck, are they able to loosen up a little bit? And it's just kind of about staying with the experience of what's happening. You're not trying to make it change, because that would be kind of a forcing and a pushing. You're just being open to what's happening. You're staying with the experience. You're using the sound as a way to become more present in your own body. Okay, so keep playing with this. It's pretty simple. I don't have a lot more to say than that. It's really just about deepening the breath into the earth, inhaling and expanding, and then using the sound to send right into those places that feel stuck or that just kind of need some attention, and just kind of feeling the healing power of your own voice and your own vibration. And this could be kind of unfamiliar at first and a little strange, but over time it becomes really, really powerful. So if it feels strange, just keep going with it and just see what works for you and sort of take it on and experiment. So I really encourage you to do that, and then make it your own and see what happens. And then the other thing I just want to say before we close here, I just want to encourage you, if you are a singer, performer, musician, maybe you're even dealing with having shows canceled right now, who knows? I just encourage you to find ways that you can offer your voice as a healing support for people right now, because I do think people are really needing it. So this practice is about doing it for yourself, finding the support for your own self with your music, but then how could you be reaching out to others? Maybe you can do something online, and you can perform online and sing for people, and just sort of help people take their minds off of it, connect to their own bodies, work with music. I think it's really, really important that we do this work right now. So I'm seeing some hearts and some love. So lots of love to you. Thank you for what you do. Your music matters and it makes a difference. So go out there and support the world and support yourself, and let your voice be this powerful healing tool that it's always been meant to be. Much love to you all. Stay sane, stay healthy, stay grounded.